Hi everybody, this is our daily agenda for Thursday, May 20th. For today we are continuing on with our types of poetry notes. The last couple of days we went on a virtual field trip to the UK. Yesterday we went to Japan. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we're coming back from Europe and we're going straight back to America, ladies and gentlemen. So I'll tell you guys what we're doing for today, but our poetry type will be free verse today. So for my 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6, you guys did this yesterday. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to do a little bit of visual analysis. You guys seem to like that. So we're just going to break down what you guys see in this picture, talk about it a little bit more, and create some class haikus. I want you guys to really get that practice in. So we're going to be doing that today. 1, 2 will be doing it before I do now. 3, 4 will be doing it as I do now. All right, so free verse poems. We're going to talk about that today. So free verse poems, from the beginning, free verse poems, the origins of free verse poems, it really came from France, ladies and gentlemen. It was a type of poetry called vers libre. So kind of like the haiku came from the renga, the free verse came from vers libre, which literally translates to free verse. So it was created in the 19th century, so in the 1800s. And it was really popular in France because it freed the French poetry from traditional structure. Much like the haiku was freed from the renga, free verse really was that freedom, that ability to create whatever kind of poetry. You were no longer stuck to the sonnets. You were no longer stuck to that rhythm and rhyme pattern. Now you can write however you want. These poets really prioritized having emotion in their work and meaning. They really these poems, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll see them, they're really focused on you, the individual, the self, okay? They're just freedom from structure. A couple days ago, we talked about who was the big kind of bard, the big person who really leads this movement. For us, for free verse, it is Walt Whitman from 1819 to 1892, so at 1800. He's known as the father of free verse. He really created an identity for American poetry. He wrote about America a lot. You'll see that in a lot of free verse poetry. They write about America. They write about the people, our experience here in this country. There's also a focus on unity and diversity of the limitless American self. What do I mean by that? Really, there's just a diverse, you are a diverse human being, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, you are diverse. You have so many interests. You are not just one thing. You are not just a student. You are not just a son or a daughter. You are not just your ethnicity. You are not just these typical constraints. You are diverse even in yourself. So these poems really just tend to focus on the I. Okay, so just kind of a little bit more on Walt Whitman, who he is. What is free verse? All right, so to your notes, make sure this goes at the top. The details. A free verse poem it's an open form of poem. It does not have rhyme or have a regular meter. It tends to follow the rhythm of natural speech. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, there are no rules in free verse poetry. I'm even going to write that down because I want you guys to know there are no rules in free verse poetry. There's no rules. You write a free verse poem based on how you feel and how you see the world around you. So, just want you guys to kind of carry that with you when you guys see free verse poetry or when you think of it. What's going to be required in your free verse? So you guys are going to be creating free verse poems. What you guys are going to have to require, you guys are going to need some sort of extended metaphor. It doesn't have to be throughout the whole poem, but there has to be that extended metaphor, something that's going on within multiple lines, okay? Hyperbole, some of you guys might have forgotten, it's an exaggeration. So include something that is an exaggeration in your free verse poems. And really, you guys, free verse poems, again, they're about you, that sense of I, me. So that's a little bit of kind of where we're going to take that. So the hyperbole, exaggerate something about yourself. It can be good, of course. Some common themes we'll see is really just anything. It's centered around the writer and their experiences. It's about you. On a national level, especially in America, these poems came from France to America. A lot of these poems will be about America and people's experiences in America. And we'll look at a poem that does that in just a second. Okay. So our example of free verse for today, it's going to be the poem I Too by Langston Hughes. We're going to actually be able to listen to him as he kind of recites his poem. It's pretty cool too. He has passed away, but it is always really cool when we get to hear an author read their works as they were meant to be read. So this is the poem. We're going to be talking about it. We're going to be talking about just kind of what is he talking about? What is he saying? What are some of the poetry devices that he's using? Okay. And then we're going to be looking a little bit at free verse poems today. These are some of our famous authors. You might have heard of a couple of them and some of their works. So Emily Dickinson, Hope is the Thing with Feathers. William Carlos Williams, This Is Just to Say. Maya Angelou, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. And Langston Hughes, I Too Am America. I want you guys to notice that these are pretty relatively close dates to 2021. Maya Angelou passed away in 2014. So, ladies and gentlemen, this poetry, it's been going on in America. Free verse is something from 200 years ago to about 7 years ago. It's still here. It's still really relevant. So, I just wanted to point these authors out to you. Once we have finished our free verse notes and kind of looking at that as a form of poetry, I wanted to practice it with you guys. So we're going to do a fun little I Spy free verse practice. You guys are going to notice something in this picture that just stands out to you, whatever it is. The letter B, the number 3, the fish, the marlin, whatever stands out to you. You guys are going to help me write a free verse poem, and I'll show you guys in class how to do that. It's going to be right down here under Classroom Poetry Examples. This is where I'm going to put all of our poetry examples. So free verse, haiku. We don't really have one for the sonnet, which is perfectly fine. And just any other kind of examples of poetry. So tomorrow's slam, we might have something on there as well. For the I Spy, you guys are just going to find an item that looks interesting. And you're going to connect this item with a favorite memory. We're really focusing on that I, ladies and gentlemen. Your experience. So, for example, I spy the red button right there of my childhood coat. It was warm. I liked wearing a red coat when I was younger, and it always kept me warm, and that's always been a nice memory, a nice fuzzy warm memory per se. So that's kind of what we'll be doing to get a little bit more of that free verse practice. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I know this is quite a bit, but don't worry, we're going to break it down. We're going to talk about it in class. As always, if you have any questions and need to reach out to me, you can reach out to me, Ms. Arroyo, or Ms. Reyes. Other than that, I will see you guys in class.